Hi everyone, this is Joe Moses with an introduction to RIT 5112 Information Design, and I'll walk through what information design is and introduce you to the syllabus and the course briefly, and then we will be on our way. Um, this is who's in the course. We have people from biological sciences all the way through TechCom certificate over here, and you can look through there and see who we are. It's a good mix, and I look forward to working with all of you. One of the strengths of this course, I think, is that it draws people from across several disciplines, and so we get to explore what information design is from several perspectives. And that's me there, and there's an introduction. Let me just show you what information design looks like. Here's one example. Here's another, which is to say that information design it can be complex and it can be relatively simple, although even a simple design like this probably comes from a complex process of understanding what users are interested in. We'll be focusing a lot on users and their interests and why they come to websites like this one, for example, to find stock photographs. Here's an example of information design that's not particularly interesting. All information has some sort of design, and one of our goals is to make you aware of what your options are, what some of the standards for excellence are, and how you might reach them. Wayfinding is an important result of excellent information design. That is, excellent wayfinding is the result of excellent information design and lengthy processes of research and testing. And this is information design, the course. And you will see that it's a Moodle site to which you should all have access once I make it visible to everyone who is enrolled. Let me also show you this example of information design, which is more on the back end. This is an example of XML, or Extensible Markup Language, which is an information design for accessing information, for turning information into accessible content via databases and the like. So there's that technical component will be part of the course. Please review the syllabus right away. It's full of a lot of details about how to proceed throughout the course. Let's see, if we start at the beginning, here's the course makeup. Here is my portfolio if you're interested in my background at all. Here's a definition that you want to look at, because this definition will play an important part here in the early weeks of the semester. I'm going to refer to students in the course as participants because there's a strong expectation that everyone will be teaching and everyone will be learning. So we're all students, we're all teachers, and to convey that, I use the word participants. There may be times early in the semester, especially when I might ask you to revise or update something that you've submitted according to some standards of information design. And these standards I will invoke prior to teaching them. And that's a way that you can gain some personalized instruction, and I can set standards for communicating well and professionally in the course. I designed this smart art graphic here with the intention that these would show up, more as buttons than as links on mobile devices. This list is not comprehensive. It's just these are resources that we'll be using early in the semester. It's not a complete list, but I'll be interested in knowing how this formatting, once I upload the syllabus, how this formatting serves you. The assumption is that it'll serve you better than these links when you're working from mobile devices, but let's see if I'm right about that. Some journals that you'll want to be familiar with through this course are listed here. They're all accessible via the university website. And here are just some more items of interest. The learning outcomes are spelled out here. Please read those so that you get a sense of what the focus of the course is. You'll see here that the major topics and sequences are outlined. I've divided the course into 4 sequences. We're going to start out with personal learning networks. This is a connectivist course. The idea that I introduced of everyone being teachers and learners is derived from this idea of connectivism. And an important part of connectivism is that you connect with other people in your field of interest, find them online, find them in person, and develop relationships around your learning interests. I'll explain that in greater detail, but the point of a personal or professional learning network is to learn specific skills, to acquire knowledge, to develop expertise in very specific ways. So we will pursue that. The information development project plan will be central to the course. When we think of information design, we think about it in 2 key ways. One is a design as a process for gathering and reflecting and creating new information and sharing information in specific ways throughout the semester. The other idea of design is the more familiar one of designing for appeal, designing pages, designing content using subheaders and images and other elements of design, color, typefaces, to create an appropriately designed document. So there's 2 ideas of design: process and the visual design, or the product of the information, or what we call in project management the deliverables. So we move first in looking at some of the tools, and we think about scenarios and profiles and topics. These are preliminary topics that we have to explore in order to be strong information designers, and we spend the first 3 weeks on that. Then we get into production and developing an individual project based on instructional design, in which we look at some of the more traditional ideas of design, typefaces, page layout, and the like. And that's an individual project. The longest single chunk will be spent on a group project. I think it goes 5 weeks, and I add that extra time for group work because group work can be complex, very challenging. And so I've added extra time for us to work through some of those challenges so that you can have the time to experience the challenges, think through the solutions, and move on. And finally, we end on an information graphic project in which you work individually to design an information graphic similar to, well, along the genre that I showed you at the beginning of that information design grid, which was a landscape or an urban landscape. Let's see, as we move on, here's a calendar of the major assignments and when they're due. We begin with the Personal Learning Network project, and I ask you to outline that in week 1 and then to update it in week 13. Critical analysis and discussion leadership is an assignment for each of the first 12 weeks, where two persons will explore a subject or an article or a research question in some depth, post their analyses or critiques online, and lead discussion based on their posts. And then everyone else will respond to those leadership posts. And instead of having all 24 of us discuss all 24 responses to the leaders' posts, I'll have you do these in groups of 4 or 6. So there are details in the syllabus and online about this, but this is a weekly exercise. Two persons will be assigned each week to lead the critical analysis and discussion leadership, and each participant will be expected to respond to those leaders' posts. Information Development Project Plan is due several times throughout the semester. We'll practice in the first 3 weeks, and then we'll develop the project plan for your individual project here, the group project here, and the information graphic here. So by the end, this document will be really substantial. This will be, it could be 30, 40 pages long by the time you're finished. And you would be able to show an employer or a client a very detailed and thorough project plan that shows the depth of your expertise and experience with information design. Here's the schedule for the individual project, the group project, and the information graphic. Finally, I highlight weeks 2 and 10 because these are opportunities for you and I to have one-on-one conversations. And I'd like you to go to there's a link that I'll show you where you can sign up right away for your week 2 session with me one-on-one to get acquainted, and then week 10 as well. In addition, there are office hours which we can converse anytime, but these are scheduled times. Here's the link where you can sign up for a time. You can see that all assignments are due on Sunday nights at midnight, with one exception, which is the leaders' critical analyses. Each week, the leaders will post their analyses online by Sunday at midnight, and then your responses to those leadership posts are due no later than Wednesday after that Sunday at midnight. I ask you to please pay close attention to these advisories. I ask you to format your assignments in very specific ways, and this is a project management or a time management concern. I have nearly 50 students this semester, and so I ask you to make your submissions to me highly searchable, and for your work to be searchable, I need to have this information. Please follow these without fail every time you communicate with me. Study this material. It'll become second nature very soon, and I do appreciate your cooperation with these guidelines. I'm skipping ahead to the end of the syllabus to show you the outline of major assignments and the points that you receive for those. Please take a look at this. This may change in some small ways. The idea here is to give you an outline of the major assignments and when they're due and how many points they're worth, so you have a sense of the schedule for the course. I go back and forth between the syllabus, and then I have to put information into the Moodle site, and I have to be very careful to make sure that all the information is exactly correct when I shift from one document to the next. And every now and then I do make errors, so let's just be in constant contact with each other about questions or concerns that you have about this information. And then if we establish that norm of following up with each other, assuming the best of each other, seeking clarification at all times, then we will have a successful class. Looking forward to working with you all, and I'll talk to you again soon.